Welcome to Senior Relationship After 60. Did you know that in a 2024 national poll on healthy aging, nearly 84% of adults between 60 and 80 said intimacy is still vital to their overall happiness, and almost half reported being sexually active, with many claiming their experiences now feel more fulfilling, relaxed, and emotionally connected than they ever did in their younger years? That's right. For millions of older Americans, this chapter of life isn't the end of passion. It's a rediscovery of it. Meet Marisol Vega, a 68-year-old retired art teacher from Tucson, Arizona. After 42 years of teaching, raising 3 kids, and surviving a divorce that left her doubting her worth, she decided to try something bold. She downloaded her very first dating app. Her heart pounded as she typed her bio. Lover of coffee, sunsets, and second chances. Within days, her inbox began to fill. Some messages were awkward, others sweet. But one thing became clear. Connection doesn't retire. Across America, seniors like Marisol are rewriting what love and desire look like. They're dating, laughing, flirting, and building new kinds of intimacy based on honesty, patience, and emotional depth. Yet behind that excitement lies a quiet question many still whisper. Am I too old to feel this way again? So do you wish someone had told you before re-entering the world of love and intimacy after 60? Before we go any further, if this already speaks to your heart, hit that new like button right now. It's not just about numbers. It's how YouTube lifts senior voices, helping more people over 60 discover that their stories still matter. Every like says, we're still here. We still feel. We still love. Truth 1. Breaking myths and setting realistic expectations. Let's start by addressing one of the biggest barriers standing between many seniors and fulfilling intimacy: the myths. For decades, society has quietly told people over 60 that desire fades with age, that passion is a young person's game, and that romance after retirement should be replaced with bingo nights and early dinners. But here's the truth. Those ideas are outdated, misleading, and deeply unfair. One of the most common myths is, it's too late to be physically close. In reality, the body changes, but it doesn't shut down. Modern medicine, better understanding of hormones, and open conversations with doctors have changed everything. There are now safe treatments, gentle therapies, and even lifestyle adjustments that help men and women keep a healthy, satisfying, intimate life well into their 70s and beyond. It's not about chasing youth. It's about learning how to adapt, to explore new ways of closeness that fit your current body, your comfort, and your confidence. Another myth whispers, after 60, there's no spark left. Yet studies across the US show the opposite. Couples who communicate more openly in later life often report higher satisfaction because they finally feel free from judgment and unrealistic expectations. There's no rush, no performance anxiety, just genuine connection. It's about presence, not perfection. And then there's the silent fear. I'm invisible now. Many seniors, especially women, talk about feeling unseen once they cross a certain age. But here's a shift happening right now in America. Older adults are becoming more visible in dating, media, and even wellness spaces. From dating apps designed for the 60-plus crowd to online communities that celebrate mature love, seniors are reclaiming their place in conversations about desire and intimacy. The world is finally catching up to the truth. Passion doesn't have an expiration date. Marisol felt this firsthand. After years of believing her romantic chapter was closed, she realized that connection isn't about how young your skin looks, but how open your heart feels. She started focusing less on looking desirable and more on feeling desirable, laughing freely, flirting playfully, and remembering that confidence is the most attractive thing of all. So let's be real, it's not too late. Just different. Your body might need new rhythms. Your heart might crave deeper meaning, but that's what makes love after 60 so rich. The myths were written by people who stopped believing in possibility, not by those who kept living it. Have you ever caught yourself believing one of these myths? Or maybe someone once made you feel like your romantic life should be over. Share your story in the comments. You never know who might find courage through your truths. Truth 2. The physical reality. What changes and what stays alive? Here's the honest truth. Yes, the body changes after 60. But those changes don't signal the end of desire. They mark the beginning of a new kind of connection. One that's slower, deeper, and far more emotionally intelligent. Aging doesn't erase intimacy. It simply rewrites the script. For women, hormonal shifts during and after menopause can lead to dryness, reduced elasticity, or changes in arousal. But today, there's an entirely new world of support that didn't exist a generation ago. Doctors now openly discuss treatments such as estrogen therapy, pelvic floor therapy, and even gentle natural lubricants designed specifically for mature bodies. The conversation has become more compassionate, more empowering, because women are finally being seen and heard in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. For men, changes like slower arousal, reduced testosterone, or occasional erectile challenges are completely normal. Not a sign of weakness, but of biology. Yet medical advances have opened new doors. Non-invasive therapies, lifestyle adjustments, and improved medications can help restore confidence. But here's the real secret. Most couples find that once the pressure to perform fades, true intimacy begins. It becomes about touch, eye contact, laughter, the slow burn that young love often rushes past. Across the United States, a new trend is rising. Seniors are no longer whispering about their needs behind closed doors. They're joining wellness forums, seeing sex therapists, and shopping for intimacy products made from mature comfort. Everything from ergonomic pillows to hormone-free moisturizers. Pharmacies now stock shelves with options labeled 460+ wellness, and doctors are being trained to ask about sexual health without hesitation or stigma. The silence is finally breaking. And here's something even more beautiful. As the body changes, so does the heart. With age comes patience, clarity, and a sense of self that younger couples rarely have. Intimacy becomes less about performance and more about presence. There's more time to talk, to laugh, to rediscover each other slowly. The rhythm shifts, but the music stays the same. Marisol experienced this awakening herself. After her divorce, she was nervous about being physically close again. She worried about how her body had changed. The wrinkles, the slower pace, the softer skin. But one evening, while dancing in her living room with her new partner, she realized something powerful. Comfort had replaced fear. The touch wasn't about youth. It was about trust. And that trust made everything feel alive again. So, instead of mourning what's changed, celebrate what stayed. Your capacity for pleasure, tenderness, and joy. Your body is wiser now. It knows how to savor what truly matters. Intimacy after 60 isn't about chasing what was. It's about creating what is, with understanding, honesty, and curiosity. If you've noticed changes in yourself or your partner, physical, emotional, or even surprising new sparks, what surprised you the most? Share it in the comments. You might just remind someone that their body, no matter the age, is still beautifully capable of love. Truth 3. Emotional intimacy versus physical intimacy. Why both matter more after 60? When people think about intimacy, they often picture the physical, the touch, the kiss, the closeness. But after 60, something remarkable happens. Emotional intimacy begins to take center stage. It's no longer just about bodies coming together. It's about souls reconnecting. And for many seniors, that emotional connection becomes even more powerful than the physical one. For Marisol Vega, this realization came unexpectedly. After 35 years of marriage and a painful divorce, she felt a strange emptiness. Not because she missed the physical part of her relationship, but because she missed being seen. She missed the late-night laughter, the inside jokes, the quiet moments when someone truly listened. When she met Daniel, a widowed jazz musician she connected with on a senior dating site, it wasn't sparks or fireworks that drew her in. It was the calm, the comfort of being understood without having to explain. That's what emotional intimacy feels like after 60. It's peaceful, steady, and deeply satisfying. Recent research from the National Poll on Healthy Aging 2024 revealed something beautiful. When asked what mattered most in new relationships, Seniors didn't rank sex highest. Instead, they said laughter, emotional safety, physical touch like holding hands, and simply being heard were their top priorities. For many, the idea of falling asleep next to someone they trust, without pretense or pressure, is far more intimate than any candlelit encounter. That's not to say physical intimacy disappears. Far from it, just evolves. The two are woven together in ways that feel richer and more complete. Emotional closeness builds the foundation for physical closeness, and when both exist, something extraordinary happens. The connection becomes playful again. Couples over 60 often report that their most memorable moments aren't about passion alone, but about shared laughter during an imperfect moment, a missed rhythm, a clumsy kiss, or simply dancing barefoot in the kitchen. For Marisol, emotional intimacy became the key to physical rediscovery. Once she felt safe enough to be vulnerable, to express her fears, her insecurities, her desires, everything changed. She no longer chased the rush of youth. She embraced the warmth of presence. She learned that the most attractive thing you can offer at this age isn't perfection. It's authenticity. So ask yourself this: what emotional qualities are non-negotiable for you at this stage of life? Is it honesty, patience, humor, understanding? Share it in the comments. Your wisdom could help someone else define what truly matters to them. Because here's the truth. Love after 60 isn't about recapturing what you lost. It's about cherishing what's real right now. Emotional and physical intimacy are not competing forces. They're partners in balance. When one deepens, the other follows. And as we move forward, you'll discover something that might surprise you. Because the next truth reveals the one habit that helps seniors reconnect more deeply than ever before. And it's not what you think. Stay with me because this next part might just change everything. Truth 4. Communication, consent, and finding your rhythm again. Let's be honest, talking about sex and intimacy has never been easy. For many of today's seniors, those conversations were once considered taboo, even within marriage. But times have changed. Across the United States, more older adults are embracing open communication, using dating apps, joining workshops, and even attending therapy sessions focused on emotional connection and sexual wellness. The quiet generation is finally finding its voice. For Marisol Vega, that voice started with one awkward, brave message. After a few weeks of chatting with Daniel, her online match, she decided to bring up what was really on her mind. Her message read, "I haven't dated in 40 years. I don't know what the rules are anymore, but I'd like to take things slow. I want to know someone before getting close." She stared at her phone, heart racing, wondering if she had just scared him away. But within minutes, Daniel replied, "Thank you for saying that. Feel the same way. I want connection, not pressure." That moment changed everything. Communication after 60 isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. It's about saying, "Here's what I need," or "Here's what scares me," and trusting the other person to meet you halfway. Whether it's a new partner or someone you've been with for decades, conversations about intimacy should feel like an invitation, not an interrogation. Start with small truths. What makes you feel loved? What kind of touch feels comforting? Or what pace feels right for you now? And let's talk about consent. Not as a rule, but as a rhythm. It's not just about saying yes or no. It's about ongoing communication. For seniors, consent also means being mindful of health, medication, energy, and comfort. It's a gentle mutual awareness that says, "I see you, I respect you, and I want this to feel good for both of us." The trend among older adults today is refreshing. Many are joining intimacy workshops and senior relationship retreats, spaces where people over 60 learn how to express their desires and boundaries with confidence. Others are turning to couples therapists or online communities that focus on emotional safety in later life relationships. What once felt embarrassing is now being celebrated as healthy, wise, and empowering. Marisol and Daniel eventually had another talk, this time in person, over coffee. They laughed about their first messages and admitted how nervous they had both been. But something beautiful happened in that moment. They realized that openness builds trust faster than anything else. The very thing she feared, talking about intimacy, became the bridge to real connection. Here's the truth. Communication isn't just the key to intimacy after 60. It is intimacy. The ability to speak freely, to listen deeply, and to respect boundaries transforms closeness into something lasting. You don't need to have the perfect words. You just need to show up with honesty and curiosity. So, let me ask you, what was your first awkward conversation about intimacy after 60? How did it go? Share it in the comments. Because your courage to talk about it might just inspire someone else to start their own honest conversation and rediscover their rhythm again. Truth 5. Rediscovering desire. Practical tips and tools for connection. Desire doesn't retire at 60. It simply changes its rhythm. For many older adults, the spark isn't gone. It's just waiting to be rediscovered in a new way. After all, passion isn't only about the body. It's about curiosity, confidence, and connection. For Marisol Vega, desire didn't come rushing back overnight. It began quietly, with a song she hadn't danced to in years. One evening while cooking dinner, she played Besame Mucho and swayed alone in her kitchen. That small act, moving her body, smiling at her reflection, reawakened something soft and powerful inside her. It wasn't about someone else. It was about remembering that she could still feel. And that's where rediscovering desire truly begins, with yourself. After 60, the brain often needs a different kind of stimulation than in younger years. It's less about urgency and more about emotional safety, sensory comfort, and meaningful connection. Research from senior wellness institutes in 2024 shows that older adults who engage in slow intimacy, moments of touch without goal or performance pressure, report higher satisfaction and lower anxiety. One of the most effective ways to reignite closeness is a practice called sensate focus, a gentle, mindful exploration of touch. You and your partner take turns focusing on what feels pleasant without aiming for arousal or climax. It's a rediscovery exercise, helping both partners reconnect with the sensations and emotions of being close again. Many therapists now recommend this for couples in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, and it's transforming relationships across senior communities in the US. But intimacy isn't only physical. Sometimes it's built through rituals. Small, consistent acts that feed emotional connection, like sharing morning tea while holding hands, exchanging compliments before bed, or starting Friday night dances in the living room. These tiny rituals retrain the mind and body to associate closeness with comfort and joy, not pressure or performance. Now let's talk about what's new and trending. The sexual wellness market has finally caught up with the 60-plus generation. Companies are now designing lubricants, repositioning pillows, and low-impact aids specifically for older adults. Products that make comfort and pleasure easier, safer, and more enjoyable. There's also been a rise in pelvic health therapy and hormone balancing treatments that address dryness, pain, and stamina concerns, giving seniors the confidence to approach intimacy without fear. And it's not just products, it's culture. Across the US, senior communities are hosting connection workshops, dance socials, and online groups where older adults openly discuss love, sex, and emotional wellness. For many, this open conversation itself becomes the spark, because nothing builds desire faster than feeling seen, accepted, and free from judgment. For Marisol, rediscovering desire wasn't about trying to feel 20 again. It was about learning to feel alive now. Through slow dating, mindful touch, and laughter-filled evenings with Daniel, she found that passion after 60 feels deeper. Less about proving, more about being. So here's your moment of reflection. Which of these practices sounds doable for you? Would you try the slow dancing, a touch exercise, or a nightly ritual to reconnect? Drop your answer in the comments, because every story you share gives someone else permission to start again, to explore again, and to remember that the heart and desire don't age, they evolve. Truth 6. Dealing with health, loss, and life transitions. Let's talk about something most people shy away from: how aging, illness, and loss shape our desire for love and connection. For many over 60, intimacy becomes a delicate balance between the body's realities and the heart's deep longing to still be seen, touched, and loved. When Marisol Vega, now 68, met Daniel, a 72-year-old retired firefighter, she wasn't expecting to fall in love again. But their connection grew over quiet dinners and late-night talks about everything from poetry to blood pressure medication. Yet there was an unspoken tension. Daniel lived with diabetes and heart issues. Marisol worried about pushing too far, and Daniel feared his body might fail him at the wrong moment. It wasn't about desire disappearing. It was about learning a new rhythm, one that honored where they were, not where they used to be. Across the US, millions of seniors are navigating this same dance. According to 2024 wellness reports, nearly 40% of adults over 65 live with at least one chronic health condition that can affect intimacy, from joint pain to medication side effects. But here's the truth. Intimacy doesn't end. It adapts. That adaptation can look different for everyone. Some couples discover new ways of being close, focusing more on emotional connection, touch, laughter, and companionship. Others explore alternative forms of pleasure, finding creativity in places they never imagined before. Doctors now emphasize sexual adaptability rather than limitation, using tools like cushions for comfort, slower pacing for endurance, or open conversations about what feels right in the moment. And sometimes it's not health but loss that changes everything. Losing a partner after decades together can feel like losing a part of yourself. Many seniors describe it as forgetting how to be touched, not just physically but emotionally. For Marisol, after her divorce and the passing of her first husband, the idea of being intimate again felt almost disloyal. She wrestled with guilt, grief, and the fear of being judged. But healing began when she realized that moving forward wasn't betrayal. It was honoring the capacity of her heart to love again. There's also a growing trend in senior relationships called living apart together. Older adults are choosing companionship without cohabitation, maintaining independence while sharing deep emotional and sometimes physical intimacy. This model has become especially popular among widowed or divorced seniors who want love without giving up autonomy. It's a reminder that love in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s doesn't have to fit anyone else's mold. For those facing surgeries, body changes, or health limitations, communication and patience are your strongest allies. Talk openly with your partner about fears and comfort levels. Sometimes a gentle hand on the shoulder and the words, "We'll figure this out together," can do more for intimacy than any romantic gesture. The real connection comes from empathy, knowing that you're still desired even when your body feels fragile. Marisol and Daniel learned this lesson the hard way. One evening, when Daniel had to pause because of fatigue, Marisol simply took his hand and said, "I'm not here for what we used to do. I'm here for us." That moment, quiet and unhurried, became one of their most intimate memories, proof that love after 60 isn't measured in performance, but presence. So here's something to reflect on. If you've faced health or loss in your love journey, how did it shape your intimacy? Maybe it made you more patient, more grateful, or more tender. Whatever your story, share it in the comments, because your words might be exactly what another person needs to hear tonight to believe that connection, even after loss or illness, is still beautifully possible. Truth 7. Keeping passion alive. Long-term strategies for senior couples. Passion doesn't fade with age. It evolves. It becomes less about the chase and more about the choice to keep showing up, keep discovering, and keep delighting in each other. For many seniors, the real secret isn't trying to get the spark back. It's learning how to keep the flame steady. After 3 years together, Marisol Vega and Daniel had settled into a peaceful rhythm. They shared morning walks, crossword puzzles, and Sunday dinners with family. But one day, Marisol noticed something missing. Not love, not affection, but aliveness. "We've become comfortable," she said, "but not curious." So she decided to surprise Daniel with a weekend romance retreat. Just the two of them, at a cozy bed and breakfast in Sedona. No phones, no TV, no schedules. Just time to rediscover the rhythm that had once made their hearts race. This is one of the most powerful truths about intimacy after 60. Passion requires intention. It's not about trying to feel young again. It's about feeling engaged again. Experts in senior wellness emphasize that novelty is a key ingredient in long-term connection. It doesn't mean drastic changes or grand gestures. It means trying new things together. Whether it's learning salsa dancing, exploring new recipes, or even joining a senior travel club. In fact, a 2024 US AARP trend report revealed that over 52% of seniors who engage in shared hobbies or travel together report stronger emotional and physical intimacy. Shared experiences don't just create memories. They rewire the brain to associate excitement with your partner. Marisol and Daniel's romance retreat wasn't about luxury. It was about laughter. They spent the first night telling stories they hadn't shared before. Childhood crushes, favorite songs, moments of fear and joy. The next morning they practiced something new. Emotional check-ins. It was simple, each asked, "How can I love you better this week?" That one question changed everything. Turned routine affection into conscious connection. Here's a truth most people overlook. Passion thrives not in youth, but in attention. When you look at your partner, really see them, after years or decades, you awaken something deeper than chemistry. Appreciation. And appreciation, studies show, is one of the most consistent predictors of lasting intimacy among couples over 60. Across the US, seniors are also redefining what staying connected looks like. There's been a rise in online intimacy groups, storytelling circles, and intergenerational friendships. Spaces where older adults talk openly about desire, love, and loneliness without shame. Some are joining silver travel groups that combine exploration with bonding experiences, while others host virtual date nights with couples across the country. The modern senior relationship is dynamic, digital, and deeply human. For those in long-term partnerships, a few strategies stand out. Keep curiosity alive. Ask questions you haven't asked in years. What makes you feel desired now? Schedule connection. Just like exercise or medication, make time for closeness, emotional, physical, or both. Honor individuality. Independence fuels attraction. Support each other's passions, even when they're separate. Create rituals of touch. A hand on the back, a hug before bed. Small acts that keep the body memory of love alive. When Marisol and Daniel returned from their retreat, something subtle but profound had shifted. They hadn't found the spark. They had built a steady glow. It wasn't fireworks. It was warmth, the kind that lights up ordinary days with quiet magic. So now, your turn. What would your ideal intimacy routine look like in your 60s or 70s? Maybe it's morning coffee in bed, weekly slow dances, or a shared hobby that makes you laugh. Drop your answer below, because your idea might inspire someone else to keep choosing love. Not the rush of newness, but the calm, lasting joy of connection that never stops growing. Truth 8. When things don't go as planned. Restoring hope and connection. Let's be honest. Even with love, effort, and care, sometimes things don't go as planned. You might find yourself thinking, why isn't this working anymore? Maybe the spark feels distant, or one partner's desire has faded while the other's has grown stronger. Maybe health, stress, or medication has gotten in the way. Whatever the reason, here's the truth no one says enough. Intimacy struggles after 60 are normal, but they are not the end of the story. For Marisol Vega and Daniel, this truth came to life a year after their romance retreat. What started as small frustrations, fatigue, mismatched desire, and medical side effects, began to feel like a quiet wall between them. Marisol felt undesired. Daniel felt pressured. Both felt guilty. One night, after an emotional conversation that ended in tears, Marisol said softly, "Maybe love changes faster than we can keep up." But instead of letting silence win, they chose to seek help. And that decision changed everything. They found a sex therapist specializing in senior relationships, something once rare but now increasingly common in the US. These professionals understand that aging bodies and emotions require different approaches. Through therapy, Marisol and Daniel learn to talk about intimacy without blame. They practice communication tools like the "I feel, I need" method, replacing defensiveness with honesty. Daniel also spoke with his doctor, who adjusted his medication and suggested gentle physical therapy to improve stamina and confidence. Within months, their emotional and physical connection began to heal, not by going back to who they were, but by embracing who they were becoming. This story isn't unusual. Across the US, seniors are finally breaking the taboo of talking about sexual health openly. According to a 2024 AARP wellness report, more than 35% of adults over 60 have consulted a professional for intimacy-related concerns, from low libido to anxiety, pain, or loss of connection. And here's what's remarkable. Nearly 80% of those who sought help reported improved relationship satisfaction within 6 months. Sometimes the fix isn't medical, it's mental or emotional. Many older adults carry invisible burdens: grief from past loss, fear of rejection, or shame from cultural expectations. These emotional blockages often disguise themselves as low libido or disinterest. In reality, they're protective layers, and therapy can help peel them back safely, with compassion and understanding. Professionals like geriatric counselors, pelvic health therapists, and sex-positive physicians are helping seniors rewrite the narrative around intimacy. Their message is simple: you are not broken. You are evolving. There's nothing shameful about needing guidance. It's a sign of courage, not weakness. For couples, consider these small but powerful steps. Name the struggle out loud. Silence builds walls. Honesty builds bridges. Seek professional help early. Don't wait until resentment grows. Support exists for emotional and physical challenges alike. Explore at your own pace. Sometimes intimacy looks like shared touch, laughter, or emotional closeness before anything physical. Focus on connection, not performance. It's not about what happens under the sheets. It's about what happens between the hearts. When Marisol and Daniel completed therapy, they didn't fix everything. Instead, they learned to forgive themselves, for the times they felt disconnected, for the moments of fear, and for expecting their love story to look like anyone else's. Their therapist told them, passion isn't perfect, it's practiced. And that became their new truth. So, let's bring this home to you. Have you ever considered professional help or talked to a doctor about intimacy? What made the biggest difference for you? A conversation, therapy, or maybe just learning to be kind to yourself again? Share it in the comments. You never know who might read your story tonight and realize that it's never too late to try again, to reach out, or to rediscover the love that still waits patiently beneath the surface. Marisol Vega wasn't just in love. She was alive in a way she hadn't been for decades. Her laughter came easier, her confidence stronger, her heart open again. She learned that intimacy after 60 wasn't about chasing the past. It was about embracing the present, with all its softness, humor, and grace. What once felt uncertain now felt empowering. Through honest communication, patience, and rediscovery, Marisol and Daniel built a connection rooted not in youth, but in truth. Her story reminds us that intimate life after 60 isn't just possible. It can be the most fulfilling chapter yet. With time comes tenderness, and with age comes freedom, the kind that lets you love without fear or pretense. So, here's the truth worth holding on to. Age doesn't close the door on desire. It opens a new one. Don't settle for silence or hesitation. You deserve connection, laughter, and touch that feels real. At any age, in every season of life. If this video opened your eyes or touched your heart, don't wait. Hit that like button now. Every click helps this message reach more people over 60 who are ready to feel seen, desired, and deeply understood. Someone out there needs this reminder tonight, and you can be the reason they find it. Share this video with a partner, a close friend, or even your senior community. Because love after 60 isn't just personal, it's powerful when shared. And we want to hear from you. Tell us your stories, your questions, your fears. This channel isn't just content. It's a community built on truth, tenderness, and courage. And if you haven't already, subscribe and ring that bell for weekly, honest conversations about senior love, dating, and intimacy. Every week, we dive into new ways to stay connected, confident, and passionately alive, no matter your age.